get to Catwoman when she's 30 years old. Maybe that's the one I'm gonna like. Cause this little angsty girl, I can punch her.
Let's talk about the movie. We're going to try and go chronologically through the film. Obviously, it's not released yet, so we're not going to get the clips and all the stuff on the side. And this is entirely unscripted. I didn't take super notes.
Neither did I.
Yeah, so this is all off the dome, but it's fresh. So, I think the opening up sequence with, we'll call them the Joker gang, I guess, is what they most resemble, or maybe the Mind gang. I'm not sure if they were supposed to be related or unrelated. But the opening fight scene in the opening to Gotham, I think, was beautiful.
I would actually say chef's kiss.
Like, mwah.
I would, the fear they had by looking into the dark. It was just like, ooh, that is what was missing in the Batmans before. Like that type of fear. Like I love the grit. I love the fight scene. I love the moment where he's stepping down and the guy that he's actually protecting still looks at him as like, please do not hurt me. And it's just like, this is starting out to be kind of perfect for me. Like that type of Batman is what I love. This combat. Militant type of Batman is who I love. Who did not have. I'm not gonna go too far, but yes, the opening scene. Oh my gosh!
Now, for just like setting the tone for like the fight scenes for the rest of the movie, I love how human he moves in all of the fight scenes. And like what I mean by that is like a lot of people like the Batman has been shown like too smooth sometimes. Or is this like, it's like he doesn't take hits. He doesn't like no one tags him up. Batman is. He's just a guy, you know what I mean? He's a guy. He's a guy. He has some gadgets, but a lot of the time, it's the 1-2s. You know what I mean?
He's ready to fight. He's just ready, and I love the fact that he was getting hit sometimes. I'm like, yes, because I was every fight scene and every actual action scene that comes throughout the movie. I am literally like, I need to see this all the way through. Because for me, you usually don't get that in these type of superhero movies because you're just like, okay, you're just watching it like. Yeah.
And the lighting, because like Gotham is dark, but like they never did the whole too dark to see the move scene. Like when you saw him hit, he was like, and you saw everything. Everything was fluid. They used like this darker set lighting. You could tell what was happening in the combat, which is why Christian Bale series of Batman bothered me a lot of the times with the fight scenes. Like I challenge people all the time to be like, yo, name me a memorable Batman fight scene that wasn't him versus Bane.
And that is so funny you said that because me and my boyfriend, the one that I went to go see with, we were literally doing that with Ben Affleck's Batman. I felt like that was the muggiest looking Batman.
Ben Affleck's Batman combat wise?
No, not combat. I'm talking about literally like the scenes, like the film itself. And that includes Justice League. Like they're on the scene where they're like on top of the roof and they're talking, and then that's when Flash has like comical moment where he's like, did they just leave like that or something like that?
Yeah.
Everything was just so dark, and then just every time you were introduced to somebody, you're just like, oh my, what is
going on?
Happening here? Like
the backdrop got lost. Like definitely got lost in everyone.
And we are not saying that Gotham is not dark, DC is not dark. That is like the novelty of DC. It is dark. It is gritty. That's the beauty of it. But when you cannot see a punch coming, you're just like, okay, can we just talk about one action scene really quick? Because I've been holding and biting my tongue.
Okay,
it was only like maybe, I think I counted 6 to 8 seconds long. And it's towards the end, and I'm just jumping really quick. I can't. The elevator. He gets off the elevator, and the guns are shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And it like lights up, but it's still dark.
Yeah.
But it's like,
and you could still see what he's doing to them with all the.
You have no idea. I wanted to look around so bad in movie theater to connect with someone that was like, "You see this, right? You see this amazingness happening for Batman." Like it was just everything connected. I was just like, I love this movie, and I'm gonna get to later on why it got a 7.5 later.
Okay. Okay. Somewhere in the first scene, one of the governors who has a child. He ends up getting killed, murdered by the Riddler. Batman's on the scene to like investigate the thing, and this is before Batman is like accepted by the cops. So like he's He's being looked at up and down the whole time,
Which
but
I love. I'm not even gonna lie, I love that.
yeah,
That
it's just
part.
and he's not concerned. He's not concerned. And
Mhm.
there's another scene that we're gonna talk about later. I was just like, oh, buddy. So yeah, and then he sees a kid that just lost his father, and like
Yep.
he has his moment where he's like looking at him. And he's like I do this so that
Yep.
this doesn't happen.
Yep. And he connected, and you saw that all right there in that scene.
Yeah,
I loved it. Yeah. Yeah. And
and
I loved how they show you that. They show you them like, who is this clown? Who is this guy? Why are you even here with him? And then they show you him as Bruce Wayne, and those same people who are disrespectful to him are like, hey, Bruce Wayne,
yeah.
how you doing? It's like,
How's it going? Oh,
I just love that. I love that. Like they show you both sides, and again, his whole demeanor does not change. He's like, I ain't like you then, I don't like you now. I really don't
right.
care. Like I don't care about any of this.
And I didn't
Yeah.
get one, but Commissioner Gordon, good job
Yeah.
throughout the entire film. I really
Fantastic.
appreciated him. Yeah.
I love him as an actor, period. He always commits. He always provides what you need. Yes.
So, how did you feel about the Batman suit before we go forward?
She adored it. I like, and I'm gonna go a little deeper here. I love the fact that it gave me a little bit of not George Clooney's Batman in the sense of the nipples, because he had the nipples, and
Yeah.
I just like, bleh. But he had a certain turn to him because of the mask. And like George Clooney's Batman, he had to like move his whole shoulder and stuff because everything was he didn't have the fluidity to move like that.
Yeah.
And I think this one, it reminded me of that, but it had, I hate to say something so, I don't know, modern, but it had swagger. Like it was combat Batman. It was, to me, when I see that, I think of weight. I think of every punch, every single thing that he's about to do is going to be heavy. You need to walk away or else you're going to break a bone. And it just grunge. It was like really like dark. I loved it. I love his suit.
It was simplistic and military for me. Because what I'm saying is like Batman has gadgets, like we have those things, but it does not look like this Bruce Wayne used Wayne Enterprise money to make his suit. All right, it looked like he was like, I'm gonna buy some pieces of Kevlar, I'm gonna build this armor suit on that. We're gonna Kevlar, we're gonna Kevlar this thing up. Let's see, and there's a part in there where he makes it to a flight suit.
Yep.
But it's like nothing is like over the top when it comes to like how his suit works.
Stitching in his mask, and I was just like, this is beautiful. Like when they first did a close up of his mask, I was like, this is like somebody just made this for him. Like it was not like something super expensive, something so shiny. I think that's why I love this Bruce Wayne as well, because he knows he has the money. Well, as fans, he's wealthy, he has all this, but he's not flashy. That's not him.
Right.
He's not like building things or have things that you're like, that's only because you have the money. Like, but the things that he does use, it's like, that's clever.
Yeah.
It's not show offy. I love that though. I would say though that's not something that I deducted points for, but every time Batman did anything, he did move extremely slow. I mean, everything. Like when he's walking or not fighting, but when he's walking in the suit, is like he takes every step is deliberate. If he's like examining something, it's deliberate, and it's just like, wow. It's like, I don't know what that direction was, but I kind of liked it. It made him more intense. So even when he would answer a question, it wasn't more so like arrogant. It was more like thoughtful and intentional. Everything he did was so like on purpose. It just, I don't know, it just made me love this Batman more.
And he didn't over talk.
Yes.
And like I did not want to say like Robert Pattinson didn't like have an opportunity to do that. I think Robert Pattinson did a great job all the way through. Because Bruce Wayne looked absolutely terrible throughout the entire film.
Yes.
And I was with that. And but like, when he's around the cops, he doesn't say much. I think the person he talks to the most was Catwoman. We're like, and see, there's a face there. There's a story there.
We're gonna get to that.
All right.
We're gonna get to that.
I mean, so like, as much as like Riddler is the main bad guy of the film, he doesn't steal the show. He doesn't.
Like, I love this Riddler. I do love this Riddler, and I do always try to say when people want to complain about the dumbest things about superhero movies, remember DC, it was campy. Like, get over that. This one pretty much like not reduces it, but it brings it to a different type of realm and a different level. And this Riddler to me is more digestible than the campy, and for that time
McCain,
period, yeah,
like
yeah,
the Jim Carrey Riddler.
the Jim Carrey one.
We're not
For
doing
that
that.
time,
Yeah,
it worked. That was the time era. That in that Poison Ivy and whatever. We're not talking about that. But I do love this type of Riddler because he was still like funny, especially when they discovered who he was and he was sitting in a cafe. Like, which one are you? And he was like, the way he answered it was like, I burst out in laughter. Like, Riddler's still funny. He still got it. Like,
I mean, with the jokes, it goes. Like, for me, like, the same way, because, like, I'm not, again, Jim Carrey's Riddler was, I think, accurate to the animated series back then, which is the portrayal now, but, like, now that we're getting into, like, more, I guess, like, realistic villains is what, like, DC's, like, going into. I have no issues with how the Riddler, like, did his thing. And then...
God, yeah.
Like, the parts where he were, like, people like, well, he would start screaming and stuff. And I was just like, if things didn't go according to his plan, like, I understand the freak out. Because he's, like, and this is jumping a little bit to the end, right? He's sitting there, he's like, you're not supposed to react this way. Like, why are you ruining this? Like, I had this plan. You did this. We did this together. Like, and he started, like, unwinding. And then he got pissed. Because he's like you ruined like this, the way this was supposed to go. Like, never meet your heroes. Like he had that moment there.
Love that reaction.
Yeah.
And to me, and he made a good point. They kind of did that together, but it showed you on the same spectrum how they were both on the opposite end. They were both very deliberate in everything they did. Batman was very deliberate. So was the Riddler. And the fact that Riddler mapped out every single thing to a T. And then when Batman disappointed him, it was just like, I can see someone becoming unhinged because they were like, wait a minute, I literally have a perfect score. I did everything right. I took my time with this, and this is not, the possibility of this happening was almost 0 to none, and it's happened. Like, I loved it. I love the breaking down, and then I also loved like the worry and the buildup of what else is happening. Mm-hmm. Like, what else did you put into fruition? What else did you do? And just to be, when I say people need to watch this movie, it's because of the ride that you're on. You don't want to get off. And that's hard to say that for me when it comes to superhero movies, because I feel like some things become so predictable. And I'm just like, okay, I can see it, and I could be like, oh, that's great, but I'm not really in it with them.
Yeah.
This one, I was a passenger. I was with them all
and like it never stops. To me, like it's a constant like build up. Like, you go from one riddle to the next, you go from one bad guy's point of view to the next, you go from corrupted cops to corrupted politicians to, like, you're sitting there and you're like, where are our friends at? Like, do we have any? Like, right. like what's about to go wrong next? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a citizen of Gotham. And to jump into the next topic, Penguin, who really did not steal the show either, but he was, to me, phenomenal. Like, the fact that that's Colin Farrell, the makeup is amazing, and I'm not someone who hates CG, but I am someone that's like, only use it when needed. And the fact that they hired makeup artists to make this guy, Colin Farrell, like, if you don't know who that is, look him up, guys, does not look like this, and he embodied Penguin. And just to add something to it that I'm pretty sure not a lot of people saw. Oh my, that's Colin freaking Farrell, y'all. Like, this is amazing makeup, and it's just, it feels real. There's a scene there where he gets tied up, and he's like, you're gonna just leave me here? And he ends up walking like a penguin. And I really wanted to stand up in the movie theater and be like, no one wants to do like a standing ovation? How they just, no, okay, all right, I'm by myself here. But I was just so like, I love this movie. That was like, you're gonna get a 9 for me, and then something else happens. We're gonna get to the other person eventually, but
okay. So I'm gonna do another small comparison here. All right.
Okay.
Christian Bale series Batman, right? Batman was never the focus point. Batman wasn't key. Batman wasn't the main character in any of those movies for me. Those 3 movies were made off of their villains: Joker, Ra's or Ra's al Ghul, and Bane. Bane carried. I want to say carried. Again. They were good films. I'm not trying to hate on them because that's not what I'm doing, but I'm saying they're not my favorite, right? Because I want Batman to be the star. And in this film here, Batman is definitely the star. And the villains are adding to the story. Like each one is adding to the story. And I was worried at first by like hearing how many villains were gonna be in this film, because I was like, oh man, they're gonna Batman v Superman me, and they're gonna do too many stories at once, and it's going to ruin the entire thing. It did not.
Right.
It did not. Story wise, this is a beautifully wrapped Christmas gift.
Honestly, when people are like, it's too long, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's too long. Oh, DC wants to take their time. They want to do this one right. That's what I thought. Because whenever they rush into something, because they're not to compare them to the other franchise, but they know that that's not their formula. They know that that does not work for them. So I still feel like DC is trying to figure out what works for us. And whenever they do that, sometimes they rush out and have another movie. You're like, wait, come on, sir. Like, come on. It really take your time. And when I heard people were like, oh, it's too long, and I'm like, oh, now I'm kind of really interested because the other long movie they had was Joker, and I love that. I did love that movie. I felt like I was again part of Gotham.
That was a slow burn as well.
It's very slow, but for me, it dived into a part of Gotham that I didn't even think about, like the part that is just ugly. I mean, Gotham is ugly, but before Batman comes and helps you, before Batman is there to save you, you're just like, oh gosh, I'm a citizen here. This place is horrible, you know. But I love this fleshed out movie. It's amazing, and one of my favorite scenes, since we're still talking about Penguin, is the car chase. I was on the edge of my seat throughout that whole scene because I love the POV. The POV in that movie, especially after he gets hit and you're in the car with him as it's tumbling, but they didn't hurt your ears with like the crash noise. You just felt the impact, and then they showed you again from the perspective of that beautiful car right there. And that scene was amazing. I did have my guy next to me saying like, oh, how convenient that ramp was there. But I'm like, but aren't you happy it was?
Yeah. Like if it wasn't there, Batman would have hit and just went through the car at that point. All right. Like you're not stopping this thing. This thing is like Fast and Furious, like
steroids,
like family. It's unkillable.
And it flies, guys. The car flies. That's all I'm gonna say. Through the fire, it flies for me.
The reveal of it was what I feel like I was like when you just hear it in the background because this is revving up and everyone's like,
yes. And then the reveal, you're like,
and you just because like
perfection.
So this is one of the nails in me for the movie, right? This is a point deduction in this scene. Gordon is under fire by a bunch of gang stuff, right? Catwoman is stealing money. She's out, right? The car comes out. Penguin gets in the car, drives away, leaves his crew.
Yep.
Right. Batmobile takes chase.
Yep.
Gordon, as far as the audience, I believe, sees, is being surrounded by gang members shooting at him.
Yeah.
And he was out of ammo, I believe, at that point.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, he's a cop and he's using a pistol, right? So, like how many clips does he have really on him? Right. You know what I mean? They take that setting and never address it.
Wow. You know, I didn't even care.
You don't care, and I don't think anyone else does. You know, because then you just go to the chase. But what I was expecting is that when Penguin drove off and then Batman followed him, his boys would be like, "We need to help Boss," and then they would get in the car and leave too. But none of that happened.
Yeah,
you know.
See, and for me, I'm gonna go since we're done with Penguin. We're like going into the other part. For me, it's Catwoman. I am someone who I love Poison Ivy. I love Catwoman. Not a big Harley Quinn type of person. You know, all these strong. I'm naming strong females basically. I love Catwoman, and to me, this woman's depiction, Zoe Kravitz's depiction of her was, to me, it proved that they only casted her for her looks and nothing else. She did nothing else for me as Catwoman. She was almost like an angsty person, and I was like, this is not Catwoman. Catwoman is like, first of all, why is Batman always sneaking up on you, Catwoman? Like, you are smart. I feel like she had this, maybe I just didn't read it properly, but she had this like this sense of like when someone's approaching her, and she will always be either one step or two step ahead, and you think you got your eye on her, but then she's right there like, I saw you following me. But this woman did not have that, and that bothered me so much. It bothered me to no end because she did not provide anything substantial. Like, and I hate to dabble in different franchises, but she did for me what Halle Berry did for Storm in X-Men. You were just a character. Like, you did not, because Storm is powerful, and all you did was have white eyes. Like, that's all you did. Like, you did not do this Catwoman to me justice. Mm-hmm. And made her more like a teen angst who, where is this romantic part? That was every time the romantic part.
So you're not the first person to bring this up to me, and this is
popcorn. I don't, why are you here? You're independent. You don't need him. Like, and honestly, to me, Catwoman is not someone that needs to be a part of a crew. She's like, I'm Catwoman. Like, I have 9 lives, bro. Like, I don't need you. And she is horrible in the sense that he literally could follow her easily. She never even felt it. He knew her car, knew where she lived.
It's Batman.
Like, identity and everything.
It's Batman, though. And say that's accurate to what I've seen. I'll be honest with you, because Catwoman is good. Catwoman, she's damn good. But I'm still Batman. All right.
Right.
So like that's why I can catch you. That's why I can keep up with you. That's why I know who you are and you don't know who I am until I tell you that. You know, because he's just that much like up here with it. But like, there have been times where like,
it's to his credit, but to her downfall. Because then they try to put the romantic element in it, and it was like, because he can do this for you, I don't see you really falling for this.
Yeah. So like, it's just like those encounters happen. And I was talking to my buddy who had also seen the film. He was like, it just seems like the moment the first kiss happened, he was like, that's just an inappropriate time to kiss. And I was like, I disagree with you. Like a tragic event happening, right? In the moment, she can only relate to one other being right now. So
I'm sorry.
I was with it. I'm with it every time. But like Catwoman, she's a flirt. She's a kisser. Like,
no, she's a flirt, but this, to me, her depiction of Catwoman did not give that. Like, going by to Michelle Pfeiffer, whom I loved as Catwoman, even though Eartha Kitt to me is the best Catwoman, but that's more of the, campy version. Again, I love Catwoman. But every time it was a power thing. It was more like, I'm attracted to you. I don't care how you feel about it, but it's just, I feel this tension and I'm going to act on it. This one didn't come off like that. It came off like I'm depending, or I'm waiting for you to express the same for me. Choose me. Come with me here. That's not Catwoman. She will grab your face, lick it, and be like, Kitty likes, and then run away. She's gone. She's like, she's sis.
Okay, I see a bit. I see a little bit of your point. But like, I also,
like the cat and the mouse, she plays with you. She's going to play with you. And again, and you're right, Batman could always be 15 steps ahead of her. But because she's Catwoman, she has that like wit about her. She's like, oh, okay, I like it. She really did not embody Catwoman. She embodied, I'm saving my friend, help me. Like, this is a Taken movie with Liam Neeson.
See, like, while those scenes like were worded that way, help me, a lot of the time she went off on her own.
Like a teen angst, not even like independent.
Like she got in there, like, I don't know why she plot stuff.
Right, and I don't know how that did not distract you. That's not Catwoman.
It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. That's what I'll say. It did not bother me. Her depiction of it didn't bother me. What I'll say is this definitely, I'll agree with you, like, she doesn't feel as trained as previous Catwomans that we have seen, because she also could not stand toe to toe with Batman in any sense of the combat. Yeah. I mean, they're young. Batman's only been on the scene for 2 years.
Yeah, so I know that this is his early career. Again, no beef with him. Mm-hmm. I think he was perfect, like beyond perfect. But for me, I think they made her a little too angsty. Like, I'm getting back at Daddy, and I think that's what it is for me. It's that character trait is more so like, I don't like this Catwoman. I need her to be at least older. Let me get to Catwoman when she's 30 years old. Maybe that's the one I'm gonna like. Cause this little angsty girl, I can punch her.
Falcone. For as small of a role and as big of a part as I want to say, right? For as small as a role and as big as a part, I liked him too.
Yeah. I think he was cherry on top, honestly.
And I mean, yeah, there's not much to like I'm gonna like else to go on. Like he played the role that I feel like he was supposed to play like throughout the entire movie. Like I am untouchable. I am like
And I want to commend him on being able to do that, because as watching him, I was like, I don't trust a word you say, but you're coming off so sincere. How are you doing this? Like when he was talking to Batman, and he was just like, "Oh man, yeah, your father was blah blah blah." You know, I was helping him, dude, and I was like, "Wow, maybe he was." And then I'm like, "No, he's not, Lisa. Come on, you know better."
But yeah, like it's just like the most complete Batman. We got the fight scene, we got the gritty fight scene, we got the dilemma in being Bruce Wayne, because it's early in his career. He's sitting there like is this working? Like I'm doing a lot, but I don't know if I'm making a dent anywhere.
Exactly.
And
so
then
even on that perspective, even on that, I'm gonna go into the technicalities. POV is beautiful. The action scenes are beautiful. Everything is shot beautiful. You can see what's happening. You are with them. It's still dark, but you can see every single thing. You are there, even in the club scenes, even after the deaths that are sometimes kind of like, wow, it's imaginary. Like you don't see all of it, but you can feel like, dang, he did this to him. Like it.
Yeah, I was hoping you guys enjoy the movie as much as we did.
Yes, I know. I might go see it again, to be honest with you. That's how much I enjoyed it. Like, you know what? Let me see a different perspective. What I know now.
Mm-hmm.
See what else I might find. Yeah.
And so you got a 7.5 up there. I'm gonna give
That's high. That's really, really high.
Yeah, I'm giving it. I keep saying 8 or 9 because like it wasn't. It was good. It was really good, and I'm doing something that we do in the military. I'm giving it an 8 to give it room for improvement. All right, that's because just to be like, hey, you know, Batman 2.
Right.
The first one was an 8.
Yeah.
All right, like step it up.
Okay, I know you can do better. I know you can do better. But I was still impressed. Impressed.
So again, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. This is our first collaboration together. Azul Titan and Bonnie P. Is the P there?
Yeah, I don't know. Somewhere.
It's somewhere. Bonnie. It's Bonnie. All right, and Bonnie. If you guys like it, let us know. Have shoot comments, talk to us anywhere on the social medias. Again, links will probably be everywhere by the time we post the video up. And maybe we'll do more in the future.
Maybe, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Hopefully horror movies. Was that better? No? Okay.